Hey there, Postal here. So I've got another replay of mine. Again, it's through the World of Warplanes replay system. What do we have? We got ourselves in the Tier 9 Heavy Fighter, the ME-262 HG2. I was really struggling with the German line. Still not the best at it. But, you know, I'd kind of grown up or learned how to play heavy fighters on the American heavy fighter line, and as you can see in the chat, I just told somebody I know who told me not to hurt him that I really suck at this plane, and I'm not as bad in it as I am or was with the Tier 8 262. But I really hadn't come to full terms with this particular plane, I think, until this battle, and hopefully you'll see why. Now, what do I do in this plane to start off with? Well, I go up high, and this plane is very good at going up high, so I wish I had the live replay of this, but I would be doing something like this anyway, looking down and picking a target and saying, okay, you're mine. Let's go back to this view. What did I typically struggle with in this plane? Well, trying to outmaneuver anything. And you'll see in the beginning of this battle, I still have struggles with it. And the player on the other team, his name is WoWp, he had actually given me some pointers on heavy fighter play. So I definitely appreciate it. And it kind of dawned on me when I was going in the very beginning of this battle. You're doing something stupid again. Don't outmaneuver what you can't outmaneuver, and this plane basically can't outmaneuver anything. And as long as you're playing it like that, you're going to be okay. What it does have going for it is extreme speed, excellent guns. I wish they had better range, but I'm not going to complain because when they do hit, they are earth-shattering. They will tear up bombers, they will tear up ground attacks, they will tear up everything. So. Go in here and I'll see if we can take out anybody. Nope, going way too fast. Barely making it. I remember that. And circling back around. So really have to use the guns on this. If you can get the guns to hit just a couple times, you're going to do so much damage. You can see I took out, you know, a couple hits and took out 25% of that ground attack plane's hit points. But at the time I was like, you know what, wait a minute here, I'm trying to play this plane down low, and it really isn't built for down there. If you make a mistake, you're in the side of a mountain, right? And you don't want to be doing that. So left that guy on 1 hit point. Somebody coming up behind me, making my life a living hell. And, you know, unfortunately was killed at this particular point, but literally I remember when I was playing this, I was like, man, I gotta take a deep breath, and what do I need to do? What can I do to better myself in this particular plane? And I really told myself, okay, this plane, it can turn, don't assume it can't turn, but Postal, you're not using its full strengths to it. I'm sure everybody's been run into by a 262 that, you know, it hits you a couple times, or maybe even, you know, takes a significant chunk of your health out. But when you try to chase it, or, you know, angle yourself to go after it, it's already gone, right? And there's some players out there that are really good at the heavy fighter role, and that just use that energy to just keep going. And I said, well, now wait a minute. Why am I not doing that? Let's see if I can learn from my mistakes and you know, change my history in the German heavy fighters. So I know I've got somebody on my tail, but I also know that they're not going to be killing me. So I'm not going to be one of those guys that just kind of turns. I see that I'm at, you know, 10,000 plus feet. Now I'm at 12,000 feet. Whatever's behind me, everything that I saw that was available before I started going after that heavy, was nothing that could stick with me. And so I did that vertical move, knowing that it would get me away from whatever was coming after me. I was hoping that I would have killed that guy a little bit sooner so that I could go after that J7 as well, but it didn't work out that way. I'm doing a long loop. At the time, I'm quite sure I would have done something like this with my camera so that I could see exactly what I was aiming for down, you know, down towards the bottom. But I wanted to go ahead and get this airbase flipped. We hadn't really flipped much of anything. We did have the military base, but didn't have anything beyond that. So I wanted to go ahead and get something that could help us spawn a little bit better, heal up if I had the opportunity to, and go from there. So right now we've got quite a handful of people that are at this particular garrison, and really it's just about me keeping my wits about me and making sure that I'm not doing anything that I can't do, which sounds really simple, but as anybody who's played the game knows, sometimes you get caught up in a situation and try to do something that you regret in about 10 seconds later. So I'm staying up high. You know, I want to make sure that I don't get people all around me. If I stay up as high as I can, or as high as the enemy is, at least I just have to worry about those particular people. So I'm trying to stick with that Batwing. I thought I had I just needed to hit him one time, so I thought I had the ability to stick with him. Kind of maneuvering away from him, and again staying as high as I can. Batwing obviously is a very dangerous plane, but it doesn't have the ability to keep its momentum like the 262s do. So wide sweeping corners, and I know that we've got some trouble. So again, I'm just going straight up, and I'm probably gonna, if he comes after me, get a couple shots in my butt. But I also knew that they wouldn't be able to stick with me. So using the ability for the 262 to just go up has saved me quite a few times recently in this particular plane. And for whatever reason, people or in bots just forget about you. And the key is when I'm making my wide circles that I pick a target that I know is angling in a manner that I don't have to really dogfight with, right? I'm able to just kind of say, okay, he's moving away from me, which gives me a lot of opportunity to track him and follow him. Even something like a J7, I knew he was way up here, higher than he needed to be, and he was going away from me, which gave me that opportunity again. So this is one part where I've got the chain lightning coming right at me, or trying to chase me down. I've got a chain lightning, if you saw the video that I posted on Tuesday. You know, I know the range of that particular plane. I was coming down there at an angle, getting as much speed as I could. I knew that a chain lightning can't keep up with me. I also know that its gun range is pretty poor, and so really just doing everything I can to get away from that particular guy. I assumed he would have turned away from me at some point, but he didn't. He's 5,000 feet away, so I'm not making a U-turn to go after him at 5,000 feet. I know those guns coming straight at him can definitely kill me, and I didn't want to take a chance after the squall line of dying. So I'm coming after this Seahawk just because I can, and it's still getting me away from the chain lightning. I'm trying to get as much distance between me and him as possible, because he's still coming after me, right? But now I know it's now or never, and using the combination of the rockets and the guns, I'm able to take him down before he even got a hit in me. And I was truly actually worried if I was going to survive that. I knew that the rockets would be my kind of, if it was me coming out on top, it'd be the rockets that'd be the saving grace. So I'm glad it came into fruition for me. And so at this point, I'm just trying to play it smart. You know, if that Batwing decided to dive left or right or down, I was not going to stick with him. I was just going to keep going forward, right? And kind of learn my lesson from my earlier mess up, trying to outmaneuver anything. And you know, it's same thing that I was told by VBAT. You know, same thing I should know just from heavy fighter play, but sometimes it's difficult to do that, right? Here I was hoping I had a decent angle on him, but I knew I wouldn't stick with him, so I turned away as he turned away. Again, just trying to save my energy. P-51H can be, you know, if it was behind me, it'd be a different story. I knew that he wasn't going to, with so many friendlies around me, I knew he wasn't going to be able to just dogfight me, so I figured I'd turn after him. Same with this 262. Now, you know, as we're weeding out all of the enemy team, and there are only 2 of them left, it gives me some more flexibility with what I'm doing. And you know, I'm probably pretty fortunate that the VBAT was on the enemy team, because sometimes, again, you get caught up in how you play the game, and I might not have remembered to not try to dogfight when I'm in a plane that's not meant for dogfighting. So
almost all enemy aircraft are destroyed.
So now I know there's only one more enemy aircraft. He's way down there though. And I figured I'd come over here and try to get some more, try to take down some more planes. I knew I was pretty close to the ace,
Air supremacy achieved.
but I wasn't 100% on it, and I figured my chances of getting a couple more frags coming up here was better than if I tried to go down and just get the only one plane that I knew that was down.
I'm proud of you, pilot.
So it did work out for me. Again, super excited when I got to this end screen. You know, got the ace and Marseilles. It's funny, I got 2 Marseilles, you know, relatively recent to each other, and you know, those aren't the most common for me to get, but I was able to pull it off. So I really do enjoy this plane now that I'm not thinking of it as something that it's not, right? And it's so basic. Utilize your plane's strengths. What's this plane's strengths? Its speeds and its guns, its altitude. And so if you're utilizing that to its fullest extent, you don't need to be highly maneuverable. I've, you know, taken what I've learned in this particular plane, and you know, really, when I get myself into a jam that I should have never gotten into in a heavy fighter, I think to myself, well, what are you doing? You're not outmaneuvering anything. And so, you know, that kind of gameplay helps with the really unmaneuverable planes. Not so much the Japanese heavy fighters and some of the lower tier American heavy fighters, but you know, tier 10 heavy fighter, the XF90, most of the German lines, and it's actually helped me when it comes to some of the less maneuverable multi-role planes. So I hope this video helped you guys out. You know, I try to pass along the things that I'm learning and getting better at as it happens. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Even if you didn't learn anything, you know, if you already knew how to play a heavy fighter really well, I hope you just enjoyed this particular battle. And hopefully I'll be able to start live recording more often if I get an upgraded hard drive, but we'll see how that goes. And otherwise, I hope you have a great day.